Alright, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, as I always am, but this is my first time ever making a cutting board. And there's a couple reasons why I've kind of stayed away from them for the last couple of years. One, I feel like it's an oversaturated market. They're everywhere. Every market, everywhere. Everybody's making them. Everybody's selling them. Two, I didn't have a planer. I know you don't have to have a planer to make a cutting board. There's plenty of ways of doing it. That's just, I really felt like I wanted to wait until I had a planer to make any cutting boards. And of course, as you can see from my short video I just did, I can link it if you want, but I got a brand new planer. I unboxed it, set it up, it's great, and I used it to make this cutting board. What's up, y'all? My name's Andy. This is Epeius Garage. If you like seeing stuff being made, tool reviews, and other random stuff going on in a random garage, then you're at the right channel. And if you like it, hey, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, leave me some comments if you got anything on cutting boards. I'm not an expert, so any feedback you have would be awesome, or anything from your experiences. So now this cutting board was an order through a friend of mine, so it's custom. They did ask for some writing on it, and of course I obliged, and I did it by hand with my Pyrography pen, and you can see that in the video. Stay tuned. Alright, first thing I did on this, as soon as I got my planer set up, is I ran my walnut board through the planer, both sides, to get a nice face grain that's really smooth, because those are going to be the edges that I was gluing together. As soon as I did that, I cut the boards to length, not the final length, but around 17 inches. Final length was going to be around 16.5, so I wanted to leave some room to trim. I went ahead and set up my fence for around 7/8. They requested a 3/4 inch board. I wanted to make it a little bigger, leave some room for planing and a little bit more meat. Glue up time. But right now, I'm going to align the grain pattern in the way that I feel like it looks best, and I think that looks pretty cool. And since I have a planer now, I don't really have to worry about the tops anymore being absolutely perfect, where I'm not sanding for hours and hours, which is fantastic. Got it all glued up, wiped off most of the excess, and I'll let it dry now overnight. That's it. Alright, apologize for the lighting. It is the next day after glue up, and I'm going to remove my clamps. See what we got here. Alright, I think it looks good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and trim this to the final size. In this case, this one is going to be 10.5 by 16 inches long. So I'll do that now.
First thing you want to do is you want to cut off one end. So I made one end as straight as possible. And then from there you can set up your table saw for your final dimension, which in this case was 16.5 inches long.
So since I'm not planning on making a whole lot of cutting boards, at least not right now, unless all of a sudden I get a bunch of custom orders, I'm just going to make a simple jig that's temporary to make the juice groove. I know Tamara on 3x3 Custom, she has a really good video on 3 different ways of doing the juice groove, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is making her reusable jig. I mean, no sense in reinventing the wheel, right? She did a really good job of making it, so I'm probably going to make one of those eventually. But for this, I just made the temporary one. You know what? I almost forgot to tell y'all about the handles I put on. It's a last minute decision. I actually just thought about telling y'all about this when I was editing the video. I don't even have the cutting board anymore. I already shipped it off. But I did put some little handles underneath it. And I simply did that by using a round nose bit. I believe I used a 1/2 inch, and I just made stops and put it in my router, ran it across, and that was it. Real simple, nothing to it. So I did add some handles, make it easier to lift off the table. Wanted to make sure I told you all about that. Thanks. All right, my favorite, sanding. Actually, this sanding on a cutting board is a lot better than my normal sanding projects. It was kind of satisfying, feeling how, feeling how smooth it gets, and it's just, wow, I really like it. So it wasn't too bad. I started with 120 because honestly my planer did a really good job on making it really smooth. I put it on the fine cut or whatever, the #1 setting, so it had more rotations and cut smoother. So really 120, and then I went up to 220, and then I hand sanded all the corners and edges and all that just to kind of give them a little round over with 220. Now this customer asked for something a little more custom. I'm going to go ahead and oblige because it sounds fun, but they wanted to put some writing on the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this using carbon paper onto the board. Then I'm going to use my Pyrography pen, and I'm going to hand wood burn it in there. Should turn out pretty cool. The wood is darker, so you won't see it. It won't stand out really well, but she was good with that. Let's get to it. I haven't finished a lot of cutting boards in my day. However, I did get some really good reviews on this walrus oil wood wax. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on the cutting board. See how it looks. This is one of the best parts, I think, when the grain pops out. Well, that's it. My first cutting board done. I had a lot of fun making this. I think I see why people make cutting boards now. They are very satisfying all the way through the process. From the gluing them up, smoothing them down, trimming them, all that is very satisfying. And of course, the most satisfying part is whenever you're all done and you put the finish on and you really see the grain pop. I really enjoyed making this. It's not something I'm going to keep in stock or make a lot of. However, I will do custom orders and make them for people if they request them, just like this one. So thank you, Mindy, for my first cutting board order. I appreciate it, and I hope you get many, many years out of it. And I'll see y'all next time. I'm babbling too much? Am I babbling too much? All right, take 2. As soon as I got my planer set up, as I ran my whole walnut. Take 4, Andy. Jeez. Now once I got all my feces, really? Come on, Andy. Take 2. It's had really good reviews. Called Walrus Order. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Take 2.